And is that fair? Is that fair to say that?
That may be what you believe, but it's very, very hard for me to accept, and I'll explain why. Imagine I'm a Jewish tribe living in Medina, Haifa, and the Jews and the Muslims, for whatever reason, come to be fighting each other, and there's a conflict. The Muslims slaughter all of the males, from my tribe. All of the men are killed, and you're telling me that not only would the Jewish children and women that survived the massacre want to be slaves, they would also want sexual relations with their Muslim masters. Now, if anyone
I didn't say that.
I'm making it real, because when you
that's not making it real. That's just a straw man.
When you paint this ideal scenario, it was more primitive back then. Life was difficult. Life was good as a slave. What we need to do that is contextualize that to reality.
I didn't say life was good. But can you quote me right? Because you were just upset with me for deleting your comment.
Okay.
Well, now you're doing something more egregious than that. Which I never said life was good as a slave. I never made that comment.
Better.
No, I never made these comments.
And then I misunderstood your
argument.
Okay,
no, just put it on notes what I say so that you don't misquote me, please.
Okay, so what did you say?
What I said was, my main argument was that in the Islamic tradition, there is this opinion which is attributed not only to a Qurtubi, but it goes back to the Sahaba.
Why would a slave want to remain a slave? That's the question.
What I'm saying is, in that time, where there was a... Oh, assalamu alaikum. How are you, brother? You okay? Very good. See you. Good to see me. Sorry. So, one sentence at a time. That it's in the records. They can free themselves forcibly. Number one. Number two, what I said was that some did not opt to do that directly because they feared the military. Like, for example, now you have to remember that there were wars going on. They free themselves. They have to get their own accommodation. They have to get their own housing. They have to pay their own bills, and they're going to be in their own danger. Now, if you're in a house, seriously, and this person is protecting you, seriously, they're military. They've got swords. And remember, it's a bit like America. Everyone's got swords. Okay. These guys don't have swords.
I thought that's basically what I said. Well, it's fine. Now that you've corrected me,
it's not about better. Point? It's just about fear of, what
I was trying to do is contextualize it so people that are watching can understand.
That's the context.
So in Syria, there is a conflict, at the moment. Now, there were people that were taking slaves,
Yes, and unjustly.
And there's unjustly, absolutely.
Yes.
We're both in agreement. ISIS, Daesh are horrible.
Yes.
Now the same scenario exists, and what you're basically arguing is that the slaves who were living under ISIS or under anyone would be so afraid of wider conflict that they'd rather remain slaves.
It could be like that.
And even if that were the case, it doesn't make it morally right.
Okay.
It's actually quite a scary concept. So I'm going to
read. Well, it depends on the context. Morally right, it's in the Bible. Hold on. Joseph, hold on.
No, I let you speak. Okay. Please give me the same courtesy.
So can you address the fact that it's in the Bible as well?
Muhammad, I let you speak, please.
You're a Jew at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll give it, and tell me, hold on, Joseph,
can I please, Muhammad, I let you speak for a long time.
Can I have one more thing?
No. I let you speak. Let me respond. I listened to what you said. So I'm going to read from the Hadith.
Yes, okay.
Narrated Abdullah bin Zama.
What book is it?
Sahih Bukhari.
Okay.
That he heard the Prophet delivering a sermon, and he mentioned the she-camel and the one who hamstrung it. Allah's apostle recited, when the most wicked man among them went forth.
Surah Al-Shams, chapter 91.
You know your stuff. Then he said, a tough man whose equal was rare and who enjoyed the protection of his people, like Abi Zama, went forth to him and hamstrung it. The Prophet then mentioned about the women in his sermon, it is not wise for any of you to lash his wife like he lashed a slave, for he might sleep with her in the evening. Then he advised them not to laugh when somebody breaks wind, and it goes on to something else. But there's an example of saying where a slave master can lash a slave. I'm going to bring a few more.
Just one at a time because it's going to be convoluted otherwise. So the reason why that is there, number one, you're not allowed to lash your slave. Okay, what is it talking about? Can I explain? Number two, the Quran says that slaves, because in Islam you have punitive laws like lashing, slaves get half of the amount that a normal believer gets. It's in Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4 of the Quran. Number three, what we're talking about, so for example, where an offense would be punishable by death, if it was a non-Muslim, it was a Muslim, But in a case where the Muslim is free, with the slave, they wouldn't have the death penalty impinged upon them.
That doesn't reconcile with what
No,
we're saying.
hold on, let me explain. However, the administrator of the punishment, in some cases, can be the owner themselves. Does that make sense?
No, it says it is not wise for any of you to lash his wife like he lashes his slave.
Okay, no, hold on.
Like he lashes him.
No, am I agreeing with you or disagreeing? I'm saying that I agree that in some jurisprudential schools of thought, some scholars say that you can administer the punishment yourself. So, for example, if you saw the indentured servant having sex with another indentured servant, or let's go even further. Sorry. Let's go even further. Excuse me.
It's not contextualized.
Hold on. No, but that's why you have to do something called jama' adilla. You have to look at all the dalils. Look, this is a decontextualized approach to Islamic jurisprudence. You're bringing me singular hadiths.
Okay, I'll bring more.
I'll bring more. No, I understand. But you're not willing to reconcile. Joseph, please. Joseph, in the book of Numbers 31:18, it says you can take the slaves that have not known any men and have sex with them and rape them. You're talking to me about rape in the Quran and the Sunnah. Can you explain this verse?
So I will say,
I've already explained my side. Now it's your turn.
No, absolutely. I'm going to just finish on my point.
Then explain.
No, explain. For
yes, okay, good.
Absolutely. So narrating,
because it seems a bit of too much like hypocrisy.
I can understand why you'd run away from the question.
No, I didn't run away from it.
Zama, the Prophet said, none of you should flog it. This is Sahih Bukhari.
Yes, I've already explained.
None of you should flog his wife as he flogs a slave, then have sexual intercourse with her in the last part of the day. In the first part is fine, but the last part...
No, come on. I say don't have sex, don't whip the slave and then have sex with them. Don't do this. What's the problem?
It's saying in the last part of the day.
So does that mean mafhum mukhalafa is that
in
you
the morning is fine.
No.
No.
That's not the mafhum mukhalafa. It doesn't work like that. Let's try. Listen, the point is now, what I'm saying to you is, I've already explained to you how this works in the grander context of things. What we're saying is, sometimes the owner, or whatever you want, the one who's in charge, the master, whatever it is, that person, when they have the indentured servant,
can we just call them a slave? It's someone you capture in conflict.
I can call them whatever I want to call them.
Okay, fine.
An indentured servant is actually one of the category in academics is one of the ways of, it's a category of slave anyway. What I'm saying is, and by the way, I don't know why I'm smiling, because you're going to run away from Numbers 31:18, which I've already explained look how many things I've explained, at least 4 hadiths and 4 ayahs. Here I'm saying to you, yes, there are some situations in which that would be possible. However, that is only in a situation where there has been already a trial and a court and so on. And I've explained that to you. Now explain this to me. In Numbers 31:18, in your book, which you believe is the Torah and the God's word, it says that Moses is commanding the people to take the slaves, not only take them, but the ones who have not known any man, the young girls, have sex with them forcibly, and then also here...
Where does it say? Have sex with them forcibly?
It says you can have sex... Read the verse. And by the way, chapter 31, verse 18 of the book of Numbers, in your Torah, where it says you take them as slaves, not only that, but have sex with them, the ones who have never known a man. Now some scholars have interpreted that to mean in a forcible way. Now, you can argue it's not, and I'll agree. For example, the Palestinian Encyclopedia.
That's not a scholar.
What do you mean? The encyclopedia was written by a layman? I don't think so.
No. I mean, rabbinic sources. Rabbinic sources. When we speak Islam, I don't go to secular. I go to
I'll send you some primary sources if you want.
Okay, please.
No problem. But what I'm saying here is, the point is, you're shooting yourself in the foot by asking me about things that not only are present in your book, but are present to an extent whereby there's no restriction. Islam came to restrict this kind of thing that was there in the Jewish tradition, where you can go in the Malachites and take the woman and destroy everyone in the village. There's no such. And I want you to explain 31:18, and I want you to tell and look at also Deuteronomy chapter 21 verse 10 onwards, and I want you to also explain to me and the Malachites and 1 Samuel's how all the village can be annihilated, villages can be annihilated, killed, everyone, and apostasy in the by the way, in the Torah, in the book of Deuteronomy, in chapter 17 of Deuteronomy. Hold on.
Let's just stick on slaves and then we can come
okay, fine. Now, apostasy, you kill the person yourself in the home. kill the person yourself in the home. Now in Islam there's no such thing. If it's your brother, if it's your young thing, you kill them with yourself in the home. So all of these things, Islam came to limit it, to reform it, to clean it up, to allow it to to solve your issues. So now I wouldn't even say that they're wrong morally, because I have no reason to say that they're wrong morally. If God said it, it's correct, but God didn't say it, I believe, in the way that it's mentioned in the Torah, in the so-called Torah.
I think you've touched on the fundamental difference between Judaism and Islam. So Islam is a literalist religion. Whatever the Quran and the Hadith say, as long as it's authentic.
Well, there are literalists in Islam.
No.
Not everyone is a literalist.
Muhammad,
I'm not a literalist.
Muhammad, you asked the question, let me respond.
But you said it's a literalist religion. I'm not a literalist.
No, let me respond.
I'm not a Zahiri.
Listen, what I'm saying is, Muslims believe that the Quran is the perfect word of God. By the way, is Ramadan coming tonight?
Yeah.
Ramadan Kareem.
Shukran, thank you.
The Quran is the perfect word of God.
Okay.
And the Hadith.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a little distracting. The Quran is the perfect word from God. The Hadith is the perfect part of the perfect instruction for Muslims to follow.
Yeah.
Judaism differs slightly. Judaism is, and the Quran itself actually says this, Judaism is much a religion on earth as it is in heaven.
Where does it say that, Quran?
So what did that let me explain?
No, the Quran doesn't say that. Don't misquote the Quran.
No, I didn't say. I said the Torah.
The Quran. You said Quran.
You said in the Quran it said that.
Sorry, my mistake. I'm saying.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I'm saying in the Torah we believe. No, the Quran. Sorry, the Quran says that the Jews worship their rabbis or something to that effect. What does it say? When it speaks about
رهبانهم وأربابهم what do you call it? أحبارهم أربابا من دون الله والمسيح ابن مريم. That they take chapter 9, yes, verse 30, which says that they take their rabbis and monks as lords beside God and so on.
So effectively what Judaism is very much a religion on this world. So we have something called the Sanhedrin, which is a rabbinic court.
Yes.
And they have the authority to define and interpret what the Torah says, and then it's binding for all of the Jewish people.
But you accept that the
to come back to your point.
Yes.
So do I believe that rape in the Torah, the Quran, anything is wrong? Yes. Does the Torah say the verses that you said? It doesn't say in the way you said, but yes, it does say that you can capture the women. It doesn't say you can force yourself on them. That's
no problem. That's you can take the young girls.
But it absolutely does say slavery, like in the Quran, is legal in the Torah. Surrounded on both sides by.
Sorry.
The Quran and the Torah both say that slavery is fine. Yeah. The distinction between the two is, if the Quran says something, Muslims can't really change that. That's set in stone.
Yes.
Within Judaism, while we can't change the wording, we can change the application by the mechanism.
Yeah. Same with Islam.
And so there isn't a Jew today, or in the last, I would argue, 2,000, or certainly 1,000 years. Certainly, I say just a minute, probably in the last 300 years. There's been pro-slavery. Slavery is very much frowned upon within Jewish circles for a long time. In your edge cases.
You're equivocating between what Jewish circles are doing. Let me ask you a direct question. Okay. Hold on, sorry. Let me ask you a direct question. Numbers chapter 31, verse 18.
Yeah.
Is it God's word?
Yeah.
Is it moral?
So
yes or no?
No. I'm trying to answer in my own words. For me, it's not a yes/no question. So I would say, by the standards of the day, back then it was. By today's standards, definitely not.
So okay. So God, hold on. This is very important.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're saying by today's standards.
Yeah.
Now, where do we derive morality? From the standards of the day or from God's word?
So for the Jewish people,
yes,
it's a fusion of the two.
Okay. No problem. But this slavery that you're talking about. Was God right or wrong to allow it to happen in your books?
So I don't believe it exists in the way that you described it.
No problem, but it's mentioned. You already conceded to the point that slavery exists in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So in your vision, is there any conceivability where there's a time and a place where slavery can be morally okay?
I would say it's always morally not okay.
Okay, so God was wrong in Deuteronomy and Numbers.
You're reading a book.
Yeah.
Which relates to a time where slavery was everywhere.
No problem. Hold on. This is good. I'm no problem. Yes.
And so from your position, and I understand your
Forget
position.
about my position,
No,
we're talking-
you're talking mine and I'm talking yours. That's what we both do.
Yeah, no
You're
problem.
saying by your definition,
Yeah.
because God says that slavery is morally okay, for you sometimes slavery is okay, but in other times it's not.
I'm asking,
saying for me,
sorry,
it's
Joseph.
never okay.
I did you the courtesy of answering your questions, and I'm happy to do that courtesy again. But I just want you to do something for me now, which is answer my questions. I've
I
asked.
did, I just said that it's immoral.
So you're saying it's immoral? Okay. Now, is it always immoral? In every time, in every place?
To take possession over someone,
Yes.
For me, yes.
Yeah. So the Bible is wrong.
According
It's not
to
that the Bible is wrong.
It's
The
due to-
Bible is, in a way, a historical document.
No problem. Numbers 31:18 is wrong.
So again, Moses is a leader and Moses is a Navi are two separate things. Now I don't know what's divine revelation. Is God saying that you need to take the let me read the verse so I don't
Yes,
want to miss
yes.
it. I don't want to
Yes.
miss
Because now what's happening, and everyone can see it, I'll be honest with you, Joseph, you're fumbling all over the place.
No, but I can. It's the difference.
You really
is,
are.
Mohammed, I will get here on the microphone, irrespective
No,
of what.
no.
No,
You're not consistent, Joseph.
Irrespective of what any of the scripture says,
Yes.
and I would say that slavery is immoral all time.
So then
You-
say
you won't.
No, hold on.
You
No problem.
won't.
Listen, Joseph. I don't care what I'm asking now. A question is you can't have your cake and eat it both, Joseph. Either the Bible is wrong or the morality is wrong, or the morality is right and the Bible is wrong. Simple. Would you agree?
Which morality?
Would you agree with that?
Which morality?
Slavery is wrong.
Fair enough.
Okay, no problem. Now, if you believe
our
slavery is
morality nowadays.
always wrong, at every time, even if it means you're trying to reform the thing, yeah, at every time it's wrong, you have to look at 31:18. If it's categorically wrong, listen to my words, not consequentially wrong, it's categorically wrong.
and actually,
If it's categorically wrong, is slavery categorically wrong? Is slavery? Yes.
Slavery's wrong, yeah.
Categorically wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
For me,
Okay.
yeah.
So Deuteronomy 21:10 and Numbers 31:18
It's not just that.
is wrong.
Throughout the Torah, it mentions in different places that slavery you can keep slaves.
Fine. That's wrong.
And I'm saying that's wrong. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. That's consistent.
Now for you.
No.
Now
For
you answer
me,
the question.
I don't say it's categorically wrong at all. I say it's.
So you think the
let me
slavery is-
let me explain. I say it's consequentially wrong.
Okay, explain what you mean.